This is the DIYPC's ARGB Q3 case in white. It's a relatively new case. It came out earlier this year, about the last 3 or 4 months or so, and it's been really popular, especially in the budget segment of the case market. And you can probably see why, because it is a really good looking case. It looks good and it's priced really low. I haven't seen many reviews for these online. When you go to Newegg, where this is primarily sold, when you look at the reviews, it's mixed in with everything because Newegg kind of clumps up everything from a company together. So you can't really find reviews of this specifically. You find a bunch of other DIY PC cases clumped in with it. And then online, there's not that many dedicated review videos for this. Mostly what I've seen is people using them in builds and kind of glossing over some of the feature sets, but not really deep diving into it. So yeah, I wanted to make a review video for this just in case you out there were interested in buying one of these, so you know what to look forward to when you do get it. So yeah, we're gonna do that right after a quick word from this video sponsor. This segment of the video is sponsored by Brilliant.org, the best online platform to learn math, science, and computer science through quick and fun interactive lessons. In this day and age, information and tech are moving faster than ever, so keeping your mind quick and sharp is key to being competitive in whatever endeavors you choose to pursue. With Brilliant, you have a large library of lessons to choose from, so you can keep learning at least one new thing every single day, a common trait shared by some of the most successful and productive people around the world. I've recently been using Brilliant as a kickstart to my day, as it's been great for my productivity levels. I do a quick lesson first thing when I get up every morning, usually one of the more simple math ones to get my brain into a thinking mood. That way I'm warmed up for the rest of the day. It's as easy as doing it right in bed from my phone. And if you're not a morning person, you can of course fit your lesson in anywhere, anytime due to how quick and convenient it is. You can try Brilliant for free today with their full 30-day trial by going to brilliant.org/nerdonabudget. Link will also be down in the description below. First 200 viewers that sign up for an annual subscription using that link will also get 20% off. Thanks Brilliant for sponsoring this segment of the video, and now let's get back to it. Alright, so this case, when it first released, went for $59.99 on Newegg. That's how much I bought it for. I had a feeling that that wasn't going to be a permanent price, and it looks like they have already increased the price of this. If you look on Newegg now, more often or not, you're going to find it for around $67, which still isn't too bad. If I had to guess, I'm sure that there will be other sales that does bring this back down to $60, and if we're lucky, hopefully down even below that. So one of the pros of this case is the price. You know, for what you see here, for what you get, it is relatively cheap, being under $70. The second pro, of course, is going to be the looks. This thing looks awesome. It's clear where they got their inspiration from. It's from the 011 dynamic line of cases from Lee. Not many cases in this price range have like this tempered glass front as well as the side. And if they do have a tempered glass front, usually it's met with some pretty poor cooling. But for this case, they did mitigate any cooling performance issues with having this side intake. So again, this is very close to the 011 dynamic from Lee. So that's, you know, the second big pro about it. Aesthetically, it looks awesome, but also it's designed well. It's not giving up too much function for form. The next pro of this case is that it does come with 3 included adjustable RGB fans. So as you can see, the colors are cycling right here, and it does have the full rainbow spectrum modes. Capabilities of these fans. This is kind of a caveat of a pro because the fans are also one of the negatives I'm going to talk about later. But yeah, for the pro side of it, it does come with 3 included fans. So this case, out of the box, works in terms of cooling just fine. You don't have to add any additional fans. Most builds that you're going to put into here is going to work fine with these 2 side fans and then the 1 rear fan. One thing about these fans though is that it comes with everything set up to exhaust. So these 2 side ones, they are set up so that, you know, you see the full fan blades and not like the frame from the backside, which means that it is exhausting air out here, as well as this rear one, it is also exhausting. Kind of a weird configuration, but as you can see, I've left it in this case because for the most part, if you're not putting anything too crazy powerful in here, the temperatures are just fine. I've benchmarked this across a lot of games that are both CPU and GPU intensive. And I'll show it on the screen here, but the temperatures shown on screen are with the fans as the out-of-the-box configuration. You could probably improve the cooling a little bit if you do flip these 2 fans, but then aesthetically it's not going to look as good because you'll see the fan brace on this side. It's kind of up to you whether or not you value a couple of degrees difference in temperatures across your components, or if you like the aesthetics looking better. And the last pro about this case, which I touched on earlier, is that dual chamber design, which gives you plenty of space for all your components as well as for cable management in the back. If we come around to the back side here, I can pull this back panel off and show you how much space this case has back here, because that's one of the benefits as opposed to having, you know, a case design that has like a traditional either attic or basement, is back here. So you can see, and I'll show B-roll of this as well, but there is plenty of of space. A basement usually gets pretty crowded, especially when you have a hard drive cage down there. You get your power supply butting up to like a third of it. The hard drive cage usually taking up the front third, and then you just have like a small space or channel to put your cables in. But here you have plenty of room. It is very deep. I mean, we're talking roughly 3.5 inches. So this entire long channel up here, if you had more cables, which I've kind of tidied everything up here, there is a lot of room to work with if you had to put maybe controllers or hubs or anything like that. I'm barely using up any of the space here. That dual chamber design, very good for cable management and just makes it really easy to build in. Alright, so I've pretty much covered all the pros of the case so far, which, I mean, all those things I think make this case really great. But first thing I want to talk about when it comes to the cons is, remember when I talked about the fans being one of the pros? Well, additionally, it is one of the cons as well. I'm usually not a stickler for, like, you know, fan quality. I don't need them to be like Noctuals or something, or some kind of fans that cost 30 bucks a fan from some of the more premium brands. But these fans, I think you know what quality you're working with. Let me undo this real quick. When all of your fans are powered solely by Molex. So yeah, we have all the fans right here chained together like Molex Centipede. Even some of the other more budget cases that I know, they at least give you an option. If they do give you Molex, it still sometimes splits off to either a 3-pin or 4-pin PWM so that you have a choice, right? That is not the case with these fans though. It is, if we disconnect this right here, a single Molex connector only. I know 3-pack ARGB fans are getting pretty cheap now. They're like, what, 15 to 20 bucks around there? But that's just added cost to this case, which already comes in at $67. So if you're gonna scrap all the fans in here and then put in like another set, that's gonna push the price up to like 82 to 90 bucks depending on which fan set you get. So yeah, this is not ideal. I mean, I would have been fine if they pushed this case up to like 70 or 75 normally and just put a better set of fans in here, but unfortunately they did not. Now, one of my biggest gripes with this case is with the fan controller, and this may or may not be an issue for you depending on what the rest of your hardware in your system is. So the way that most of these budget cases work when they have a built-in controller, I guess even the non-budget cases too, any case with a built-in controller usually has a button that is hooked up to the reset. You can take the reset button wire and plug it into the RGB controller, and that is gonna control when the lights switch, which is a good thing in most cases when they have a better controller that can actually hold the RGB effect or have more effects and lighting. This case, however, for whatever reason, they decided to really cheap out on the controller, and I do not think it is a defect of my unit. I did find one other video on YouTube where the person was showing off the RGB lighting, and they also did not touch the button, and it was still cycling through. So I'm pretty sure that this is just a pretty bad, low-quality controller. To me, this is a pretty big con, especially for a case that's pretty much $70. There are plenty of budget $70 cases with controllable RGB that's better than this and better quality fans. The issue here isn't if you have modern hardware that do have the 3-pin ARGB 5-volt header on your motherboard. If you have that, you could connect these fans to that, and that will overwrite the case controller, and you can control it via motherboard software. So if you have any modern hardware or higher end older hardware that have those headers, you're fine. But the issue is when you are using hardware that just do not have those headers. And I mean, even some, you know, B350 and even some B450 boards, which aren't all that old, to be honest. We're not talking about, you know, like Sandy Bridge era or like Haswell era parts here. Like this system I have in here, this is a 10th gen Intel platform. That's an H410 motherboard, which I admit is not the most high-end motherboard, but it does not have the 3-pin 5-volt ARGB header. So I can't control it with that. And if you're using this case for like budget flipping older parts, you have to keep that in mind. There is one fix to that, which, I mean, I don't think it's that good of a solution because of, you know, how much these things cost, but you can buy independent SATA RGB controllers. So this is just one that I had on hand. This is like actually a Cooler Master one. So this plugs into the SATA, and this has a controller in it already. The fans on here do use a standard 3-pin RGB header or ARGB header. The thing about these are that, you know, they're like 10 to 15 bucks. It brings this up to 80 bucks already. And in that range, you have plenty of choices for other cases. Alright, so I have the controller plugged in, and now you can see the colors are going to stick. So I'm going to press the button to switch between the different modes. different pulsing colors. Let's just say I wanted to go to a solid, or let's say the rainbow effect, right? So yeah, I brought it to this, and now because I'm using a better controller from Cooler Master, it's not gonna switch colors on me. It's just gonna stick to this rainbow kind of pastel color effect, and it's gonna hold it. So yeah, you could get around it either by using an independent controller or just by having a motherboard that doesn't completely suck and have the headers on there. But again, this is something that I really wanted to bring up because I have a feeling a lot of people are gonna buy this case to use with the type of hardware that may not have the headers on them, and they're going to be really disappointed when they can't control the lights on it. So I would say for me that was the biggest con. Okay, I think I just lied, because I'm not sure if this next negative that I'm going to bring up is as big of a negative as the fan control on there, and that's going to be the way that the side panel is attached to this case. So as you can see here, I'll bring out this camera. The way this is attached is through 4 thumb screws. They're kind of like these flatter pancake thumb screws through the drilled holes on the glass, which I really do not like. This is like the first way that when tempered glass panels started, you know, appearing on PC cases. This is the way that they were all attached. 4 thumb screws to the case. Companies have since come up with so much better ways of attaching glass to the case that going back to this after, you know, using all the other types of cases that I've used, this is just a huge pain. So like to remove this, I'm gonna have to take all 4 thumb screws out individually. 4 thumb screws every single time, which I know sounds like a minor complaint, but there's just no reason for a case that's coming out in 2023 that looks this good. And I mean, this isn't just like a $40 case or something. If it was one of those really crappy looking $40 PC cases, I would let it go. This is a little bit more premium. It's coming up on $70 now. There's so many better ways to attach the side panel to this, and one of them they already did in this case. So if we take a look at this front glass panel, it's removable. I don't think it needs to be removable. There's no, I guess it gives you more room, but you can just pop this off. They use like the most preferred method, I believe, which is going to be this kind of like ball socket pop-in design. This front glass panel did not need to be removed. If it was for cost reductions or something and they couldn't fit any more of this pop-in ball socket, just take it off, make this front one permanent, and put it onto here so that we could just pop this on. And of course you would have to put some kind of lip on the back here so that you can thread either one screw here just to secure it in place. Because I do understand the pop-in ball socket method. It's not going to be the most secure if you're going to be transporting this around. It could pop off. I have some other cases here just to show the example. Like here is NZXT's H210 case. So you do have one screw here in the back. You undo that, and then you just grab this lip and you pop it off. So similar thing, pop-in ball socket design, and this is, I think, ideal. This is one single screw, and when it's screwed on, this is super secure. This isn't going anywhere. Another design they could have gone with that I really also love is the kind of hinged design. So this is the Montech Air 100, also a sub $70. I think this might be like 60 bucks. Also comes with 3 adjustable ARGB fans. But yeah, this uses a magnet. So a magnet keeps the case closed. But also it has a hinged design for the tempered glass panel. So yeah, you're not undoing any thumb screws. This is a budget case, and they've used a better solution than the 4 thumb screws through the tempered glass. So there are plenty of other budget cases out there that employ a much better method of attaching the side tempered glass. I just wish they would have done something like that here, just because it's such a missed opportunity. This case, I'm telling you, it is very popular. I think it's going to continue to be popular. Every time I check on Newegg, I could constantly see it going in and out of stock. For the price range, it sets itself apart from pretty much all the other budget cases. Not only just like aesthetically good looking, but a pretty well designed case at a lower price point. So it's more accessible, and you can make a really nice looking PC build without spending, you know, double or triple the amount of money. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for my kind of like more deep dive into the features of this case. I really wanted to do this because I was a little bit let down by some of the things that this case had, especially the fan RGB controller, and then the front panel, how it was attached. Those are my 2 biggest gripes with it. But aside from that, like I said, you're not going to find a case that kind of has this look for a price this low. So I think maybe a lot of people are willing to overlook that. But I just wanted to make those facts known because I had not seen other content creators talk about these things. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this quick case review though. Let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts on this case are. Have you built in this yourself? Did you find some of these things as annoying as I did? And if you haven't built in it yet, and if you are thinking about building this case, let me know if this, this video help you out make your decision whether or not to get it or something else. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it either helpful or entertaining in one way or another. I want to thank you all as always for watching and for continuing to support the channel. Thank you to the channel members as always for the above and beyond support. Look forward to seeing you all down in the comments as well as seeing you in the next video and or stream. Bye.